Hello and welcome to our Facebook Live on Tuesday in Australia. I'm really excited to have with me today Troy Brown from Xbert. Welcome, Troy, to our Facebook Live.
Thanks, Nick, mate. Appreciate the invite. How you going?
You're good. So you're based in Coffs Harbour. Is that true?
It is. Spent many years in the big cities, and now it's time to we jumped out of there to build this product. Really, to just have more time to focus, less time in traffic, more time to think and surf. So yes, very nice place to live at the moment.
The weather would be, I'm sure, amazing at the moment.
Yeah, they do say it's one of the best climates in Australia. So it does get cold at night, but beautiful in winter days. So it's a top place to live.
It's probably second best to the Gold Coast where I'm based. So, mate, for those that don't know Xbert, tell us a little bit about what Xbert is and what it does.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's Xbert came about from finding some big problems in business and dealing with advisors and things like that. Sort of my past, big successful business that went pear-shaped after 15 years, and there's many reasons why. And we looked at those reasons. I thought, okay, well, we've got to learn something from that. And we thought, okay, being very tech savvy, we thought let's build a product. I guess what we've tried to do is build a product that brings together the business owners, the bookkeepers, and the accountants closer together, so they can work together. Looking to try and save time and money, help accelerate growth, and resolve financial risks together, so they all can prosper. So not just the business, both the bookkeepers can grow their businesses and the accountants can also grow their businesses, saving time. Yeah.
So what's it actually do? So I suppose in a layman's term, what does the software actually do for an accountant or a bookkeeper?
Okay, so what we're trying to do is, tell you about risks before they exist. I guess that was the tagline for the business owners, and finding those things early what helps the business owner make smarter decisions on a more regular basis, rather than down the track when it's too late to make those decisions. So a lot of those issues arise in the numbers in the books, and it's all about where things get coded, whether or not the numbers are right, whether there's duplicates in them, whether there's any kind of anomalies or patterns. And how it helps the bookkeepers, I guess, is that what Xbert does is it syncs over the Xero data, and we're only syncing with Xero at the moment. We've got Mild and QuickBooks on the way, but it syncs with the data every single hour, and it looks for all the data entries from, say, the practice or their offshore practice team, and the business entries that come in, and all the add-on products. Think about, say, Receipt Bank or HubDoc that bring in attachments into Xero as well. We're looking at all those, and we're running our algorithms over them, looking for errors, potential fraud, all unusual activity, process behaviours, like how you actually do things from time to time. Why have you done things differently? Looking at the sales and expenses, things that might affect cash flow. One of the things we look at closely is GST, like in the Australian market, I guess. We do that very well. We sync in with the Australian Business Register, and we pull that data in nightly, and it gets synced into our warehouse, where we do a lot of tricky things with it, tied to amounts of money. And we help you with the compliance of GST and ABN checks and all that sort of stuff. So that's a massive time saver. And people, have audit teams just to be doing this sort of things now, and rather than have to check things all the time, it's all about Xbert brings it to the front for you, so you don't have to check it anymore. We'll just tell you when it needs fixing. So it's all about looking at all manual processes within the business and ticking those off as an expert. So, okay, well, you don't need to look at draft bills across 100 clients, whether or not they need to be finished. You don't need to check GST or ABN numbers anymore, or make sure the attachment numbers are right. Xbert will tell you to go and fix those things. So it's just a massive time saving in terms of having to check things. You're often checking things that just don't need to be looked at. And the whole idea is just to reduce manual process and work by exception. as opposed to checking check boxes all the time.
So there's obviously, I mean, this is one of the challenges that I find in the accounting ecosystem is it's almost app fatigue. There's all the internal apps that you need for your business. There's all the apps that you need for your clients. Why is Xbert one of the ones that you should have? Why is it one of the most critical ones on a list that should be there?
Well, I guess we sort of overarch over all of them because we're looking at all the data that goes in, right? So you just trust those applications and you trust those human beings, and it takes a lot of time to check everything. So you need to sort of check it and have a system check it for you. And I guess, you know, if I was to sort of say, you know, what are you know, some reasons why Xbert should be in your app stack, it just reduces any self-review that you have to do, you know, or your team's any rework that has to get done. So managers will, you know, be asking for less rework to be done, which saves time, saves money. It helps reduce sort of time pressure and attention to detail sort of required, because, you know, at the end of the day, Xbert's got your back, sort of checking things. It allows you to sort of focus on the task at hand and, you know, execute what you need to do in a timely manner. You know, you'll spend you know, less time, like I've mentioned, less time checking tasks are done, and you're just working by exception. And I guess when it's sort of getting passed on to the account, you can be sure that it really is ready for review, right? So as opposed to, well, the account's going to look at that and go, that's a big bunch of mess, or I have to go back to the business owner and say, clean those sort of things up. And ultimately, after all that, it's providing you the ability to provide meaningful advice to your customers, right? And it reduces the time to find those touch points in the data, because we're bringing those things to life with insights and, you know, pattern behavior, unusual activity in the business. So you can actually, you know, have those things come to the surface, you know, assign those things to your business owner or the accountant, or the business owner can assign things back to the bookkeeper, you know, go, how do I do this? Or this is going to affect my cash flow, what am I going to do? So it's about bringing in that sort of triangle that we've built, our framework to sort of build that, you know, enhance those relationships with the customer.
So if we were to give a summary, because we've had a bunch of new people just join, I suppose, the live in the last few minutes, what is the summary in one or two sentences of what Xbert does?
Well, it ensures data integrity, right, of all your data. It reduces the rework that you need to do. It improves team efficiencies through AI process and task automation, and it has alerts and insights that, I guess, trigger meaningful conversation for advice on accurate numbers. I guess that's sort of the quick sum up.
So if I'm in layman's term, and I don't do accounting or bookkeeping anymore, I was a financial planner for 12 years but owned an accounting firm. Am I right in summarising saying that, you know, my team does the work and this software sits over top of it and reviews for the quality and any anomalies that the system then detects?
That's right. That's right.
So it's like a review. So basically, instead of having a local accountant doing a review, you've got a review. You've got the technology doing it, probably more accurately and at a higher level.
That's right. Yeah.
So from a time, so the reason why I ask that is from a time point of view. If you've got a team in the Philippines or even a local team, if you run this software as the first review, and then basically the person doing the review should have a lot less time required on the job because a lot of the work is already done. Is that pretty much a layman's term summary?
That's right. So all the data entry that goes in, it gets checked. Every transaction that comes into the system via bank feeds is getting checked before it even gets raised or reconciled. You know, so, and when it does get reconciled, you know, it's checking that GST, it's checking the ABN, it's checking the account categories it goes in. Why did it go in there when it shouldn't have gone in there? You know, so things get messy. You know, how many transactions does bookkeepers look after on a day-to-day basis? Right, it's ridiculous. Thousands of transactions. It's only human to make mistakes, and they happen, right? But I guess what we're trying to do is prevent a business owner making a bad decision down the track because they're looking at a report and all of a sudden, you know, 5 transactions to one contact is in one category and 5 other transactions for the same contact are in another category. Like, how do you make smart decisions? You know, where you're going to spend money in the business or where you need to reduce spending money in the business, and then you want an accurate report. So all that, we get a lot of those audits that go through. And they're not just errors that we find in the detail, in the data entry. There's also business patterns, you know, so it's looking at unusual activity the spend of the business, and it's also looking at invoices that go out. Why do you spend? Why do you invoice someone $10,000 every month, and all of a sudden that's dipped down? There's a good sort of expert you can assign that little ticket to the business owner and say, you've always invoiced this guy $10,000 a month, but now he's only $1,000 a month. What, did a zero drop off the invoice, or did you need to take this guy out to dinner? Just little conversation starters like that. So there's a lot of that in the system as well. That sort of help that advice. But yeah.
So Troy, why, and this is probably, I don't know if this is putting you on the spot, why doesn't like a Xero or an Insured or a Mile, or why doesn't any of those technologies have this built into their technology? And that was, I suppose, probably leads me to what, obviously there was a gap, which is why you built this, but do you know why they wouldn't build this technology in? Is it just not a priority? Is it?
Oh, look, I don't think it's sort of a priority. We're working closely with Xero with their roadmap as well, working with them. We're just trying to stay ahead of the game, and it's, I guess there's data entry things that that can be checked, but it's more about there's other business patterns and learnings that happen on, and I guess it's sort of warehousing all that data and working out the algorithms, working with businesses, finding out what they want, what are the pain points in manual processes within working with bookkeepers, and discovering all those things and building them in a different way. Like, I guess we try and look at things outside of a bookkeeping and accounting brain and sort of change it all. We've gone, let's build this simply, let's pull that data in, make you be able to fix it, link it straight in, fix that data, instantly resync it, it's resolved, so it's, so that, I guess, look, we're ahead of the game. We've been spending years building the product, and everyone's going to build apps and things into the ecosystem. And you know what? We said, okay, we need to check them. So and that's basically coming from learnings. We hear a lot of stories about what people want, and they say, every now and again these other add-on systems, make mistakes, and so we've learned how they make mistakes, and we look at how to fix those sort of things and bring those to the surface. And sometimes they might not be mistakes, but they might be things that definitely need looking into, because they're associated with the amount of money that you'd be mad not looking into it. So, yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that. And I mean, it was a loaded question in one way, because I wanted to, I suppose, see why it was built. And there's a big gap for the market. I know during COVID, you've obviously been having tons of conversations with your users, your clients and prospective firms and bookkeepers. You've made some alterations with your product during that time as well, based on user feedback. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, okay. I guess when we set out to build Xbert, it was an AI machine learning audit tool. I guess as the journey's progressed, it was a tool. It started off as a tool that you sort of use at the end of the day to check your work, or at the end of the month to check your work. And along the way, people engage with the product that much that we started a little task system to begin with that you could add into the system. But as we've gone on, we've realised that we were solving a lot of manual process along the way that people, we're trying to find efficiencies in, but they just had to do it manually. So we've built into the system after talking to all our users, and we've got a fantastic user group feeding into the roadmap now. We're like a more of a start your day tool. So you use Xbert right throughout the day. So it's got a whole process template and task automation system within the system in the product, and you can now start your day with Xbert. Load all your templates up, all your tasks in preset processes that we built. So we've been talking about preset processes that they, best of breed, I guess. We've sort of collated those and gone, okay, you can start with those and you can jump into the system and customize them. And now they can start working by exception. So they'll give us a bunch of their tasks, and we'll help put the tasks in the system. We'll say, well, you know what, you don't need that compliance check anymore. Xbert does it for you. We'll just tell you when it needs to be done. So throw that task out the window. And I guess that's sort of where we're heading. It's like, stop manually checking things. You don't need to. We'll just tell you. If the data tells us, we'll tell you that it doesn't need to be checked. And so you'll get beautiful visibility now, like on a process, we call it a process status dashboard, where you can see what needs to be done in any work period. any given time across all your clients in one go. So no need to open file after file after file after file after file. It's just sort of there. Just go and do it.
Well,
So
I think
that's great. You know, that's what they've sort of gone. Okay, just the time efficiency. We need to improve our efficiencies, and yeah, we're just working closely with them to just pump out as much of that as possible, take away that pain.
And I think that there's a few things you said there. Was one is that there seems to be significant time savings. It's one of the challenges that we find within the industry is the managers or senior accountants are just blocked with reviewing work. And this software takes that away. And ultimately, it's going to pick up a lot more than I assume a person would, because of just the learnings of what the software does. And then the process and templates you've been able to build in has been amazing. So, I mean, kudos to you for pivoting, if that's the word. I hate the word, probably is pivoting is not the right word, but listening to user feedback and then building the tools that they actually want. Because I think a lot of softwares, and I won't name who they are, but some of the larger accounting softwares have been challenged over the last few years because they haven't been listening to users about what they want built. They're building what they think they want. And I think that's one of the biggest things that any software or any company can do is listen to your customers and build what they want, but also be smart enough to always not just build what they want, because you need to be ahead of them and get ahead of the game, which I know that you are with yours. So, Troy, anyone that wanted to learn more about Xbert, what's the best way for them to find you and reach out?
We run partner programs with most of our users. They sort of join up a partner program. So you can email partner.program@xbert.io. XBERT stands for Xbert Business Alerts. If anyone didn't realise why we came up with a name. So they can contact me through there. You know, we can discuss, we like to sort of discuss, how's your business operating? Do you offshore? Are you internal and offshore? It's a great way of visibility. What are your processes? Do you have different types of clients? Help you build your processes into the system. So we run a program for that. So you can contact me at partnerprogram@xbert.io. If you're looking for a demo, we've got a demo button on our website. We're more than happy to jump on and have a chat with anyone and run through all the product features. Xbert's become a pretty powerful feature-packed tool these days. So it's really worth loading a file up and having a play with it, and then asking for a demo and going through the best way to use it. But yeah, look, welcome everyone to sort of have a chat with us anytime. We share our roadmap with you when we have those chats. We've got experts coming out our brains that all get fed in from so many of our users. So there's we're approaching 50 different types of checks in the system, and we've got a list of 50. We just pumped out another 3 this week that will get released at the end of the week, and they're continually going into the system. We're looking at overseas. We've got people in the US that we're now engaging that are telling us what their pain points are, and the tax systems and things over there to solve their pain. In the UK, South Africa. So it's we welcome everyone at the moment to sort of join the party, I guess.
Excellent. It's good that you're going global. So a question that Heather's asked us is, are there different alerts more relevant for offshore teams, or is it the same as what you'd have with a local team?
Look, it's the same as you have as a local team. I guess you still sort of you're doing it from anywhere. I guess that's the beauty of being able to offshore. You still got to follow the same process, the same sort of compliance. I guess Xbert gives you that visibility of your team, right? So now you can sort of see the workload across the team, and the experts fall into the workload by automation. You can see what the team's doing across all those as well. So that's sort of great if you are offshoring it. And it gives you that great way to communicate on all these tickets, all the experts that pop in and the tasks that pop in with those people. And there's team chat, and there's a whole bunch of things. So it works really well with offshore teams. But yeah, experts, I think they work sort of everywhere. I guess it's really sort of talking to offshore teams and go, is there something that you want? And it might be sort of user driven, where user to manager sort of driven. But at the moment, no, look, experts just work across the board for everyone. That's how we built the system.
Excellent, mate. Troy, I really appreciate your time today. I love, I suppose, exposing these applications and tools that some people may not have heard of that really adds value to particularly businesses with offshore teams, but even more so local teams, because I just see the value in taking out that review level work and the amount of hours that businesses, accounting and bookkeeping businesses spend doing that. So, mate, appreciate your time today. For anyone that wants to learn more, we'll just drop in the comments. Xbert.io is the website, isn't it, Troy?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Awesome, and look forward to continuing to chat to you again in the future.
Awesome, Nick. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Appreciate
No
the time.
worries. Chat to you soon.
Take it easy. Bye.